Hey there, Team HNK. So last we were here, we talked about the Epstein Files, and they're still yet to release. Well, Senator, Representative, Republican Thomas Massie has brought forth his own proposition with the Epstein Files, looking and supposedly holding a folder that presumably looks like something that says declassified. So we're going to look at his video and his proposition where he answers a few questions on whether or not these files will even get released, because he's saying that they passed something to the grand jury that basically refines some of the classification, but it's fake, right? It's fine print. It's not real actual content. It's more so redacted. So we're going to look at just a quick video excerpt from him and see his thoughts on it. Okay.
I was wondering, with the paralysis in the Rules Committee, it seems like they're not going to be meeting again today because of amendments. Have you chatted with anybody about that at this point?
Well, it wouldn't really matter. Their Epstein bill resolution is non-binding, so it's kind of fake. The resolution that I have co-sponsored with Ro Khanna would actually bring up legislation that would be binding on the president.
Is your understanding that will ripen the day after lawmakers get back from August recess?
Yeah, unfortunately, we have 6 days and we needed 7 days for the discharge petition to ripen before we could bring this up before the August recess.
Right.
So we'll have to bring it up after the August recess. But the good news is the Speaker has no interest in keeping us here one extra day.
I was wondering, with the paralysis.
So there's the beginning of the excerpt, in which everyone's like, where are the files? And so what they actually did recently, which is kind of odd, they released the MLK files. But if we're being honest, nobody really cares about the MLK files. Like, we care about them to a certain extent, but dude, it's so windy outside. What the fuck? Yeah, it only matters to those who care about MLK. But MLK, yes, we know that he was assassinated. Do we know by who? We can only infer, and maybe the files will reveal what we think, in which we all kind of already knew from the start. But what I'm getting at is the muddying of the waters constantly is genuinely just sad, because we're still like, hey, where are they at? And it's like you get everything. They're kind of just put as much news out as possible besides the thing that everybody really wants. I mean, who doesn't want to understand or know the justice that needs to be served via innocent minors, okay, and people that we pay taxes to every day? Like, these are not normal people. It's not some random immigrant, okay? This is a politician or a high-ranking aristocrat or technocrat or oligarch that you're paying your money to every fucking day, every year. Every time you spend that dollar, that 7% tax, you pay it to that person. And they just, and they actively are participating, or were at least participating in things like that. Like, how can we just sit here and be like, because what I'm getting at is, if this goes by and then later on something else comes up, they're going to try to write it off again. They're going to think like, oh, this is just, it is what it is. We can just do what we want. No, not a fan of it. Look at this.
We needed 7 days for the discharge petition to ripen before we could bring this up before the August recess. So we'll have to bring it up after the August recess. But the good news is the Speaker has no interest in keeping us here one extra day, because this will ripen in an extra day.
Have you heard from the president?
I've not heard from the president directly.
Anybody, have you heard from the White House?
No.
So there won't be a vote this week, it sounds like, or is what Speaker Johnson said.
We need 7 days for this resolution to ripen before we can start collecting signatures, and there are only 6 days before the August recess.
So more than likely, whether it's this or the non-binding resolution, will be after August recess. Do you think voters want to see it sooner, or?
I've seen the polling on this. Less than 10% think that we shouldn't bring this up. So whether you're Republican or Democrat, the polling is over 75%. Release the Epstein files. That's what needs to be done. And so I'll be pushing that as soon as we return from the August recess. Now, there are a lot of people here in the swamp who think that, oh, well, if we spend 5 weeks on vacation, the pressure for this will dissipate.
Right.
I don't think it's going to dissipate. I think it's going to build.
It's not dissipating.
The American people are still.
They think that they can outweigh us with time and patience. No, I'm not doing it. We're not doing it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm making videos about this every day, constantly. I'm not letting go. I'm sorry. I'll never let go. People say like, oh, I don't care. I care. I think a lot of people care. I'm not letting go. We shouldn't let it go.
Getting up, going to work, paying taxes, and wondering where these files are.
Why do you think President Trump's base
Exactly.
is so interested in seeing what's in there?
Well, because he promised it. His kids promised it. His vice president promised it. His attorney general promised it. His FBI director promised it. This is not a hoax. If it were a hoax, a man wouldn't have killed himself.
Exactly.
There wouldn't be a woman in
Exactly.
prison. This is not a hoax. They have more information than they have released. And that's what the American people want to see. And the victims demand justice.
Speaking of the woman in prison, do you want Ghislaine Maxwell to testify here before Congress, have a hearing?
I'd love to see her testify.
Have you had a conversation?
I don't see what bad could come of somebody testifying, and I think that could possibly implicate other people and inform us of what we need to know.
Would that be a judiciary or an oversight committee function?
It would probably be judiciary or oversight. I used to serve on oversight. I now serve on judiciary. I'd like to see a joint committee hearing with judiciary and oversight.
And have you had any conversations with Chairman Comer or Chairman Jordan about having a hearing?
I have not, other than my public statements that I think Maxwell should testify.
What do you make of the speaker's handling of this issue over the past couple of weeks?
I think he's scared. I think he's terrified.
Mhm.
I think,
I think that we can all infer, if you have to do this much, let's just be honest, okay, they probably have some relation. I'm not going to say that they are on it, some relation, and maybe it may be to an immense stature that people are going to be like, oh, so the likelihood is that, etc. Okay, I'm not going to get to the specifications, but I do think, and I do believe that if you have to do this much, we basically already answered the question, but the problem is that we're never going to be able to get, like, okay, if there's somebody like a big name, right? We're going to be like, okay, we know. But what we're trying to get at is, what about the people we don't know? Or names we wouldn't even thought of, right? Names you wouldn't even thought of to be on the list. That's where I'm at, where it's like, imagine Ellen DeGenerates on it, right? You're like, what the fuck was Ellen doing on that island, right? You're looking at other people, other names, allegedly. You got to add that allegedly, you know, just in case. But I just find it ridiculous that we have to sit here and proactively pester our own government for transparency on things that they campaigned on. They actively said that this is something they were going to release and this is real. Then here we are. We're like, is it real? Oh, it's a hoax. It's not real. He didn't kill himself. Nobody exists. No, his wave function collapsed. Oh, he's not in a superposition anymore.
I mean, 80% of MAGA, once these files released, they were promised this, they expected this, and it's not happening. But at the same time, he feels an allegiance to President Trump, who's gone against the MAGA base on this. So I think he's torn. I think the right thing to do would be just leave it up to the people's house. Let us vote on whether to release these files or not. And I hope he does not try to use some kind of parliamentary procedure to subvert or hide the release of these files.
Just to follow up on what you said earlier, of like, you don't think the public pressure is going to go away over the next 5 weeks. Do you see it lasting as long as, you know, the 26 midterms, if that follows Republicans through to that, depending on how they vote?
This will be an issue that does follow Republicans through the midterms, and it will follow each individual Republican through the midterms. It will follow people into their primaries. Did you support transparency and justice, or did you come up here, get elected, and fall into the swamp? Did you decide that getting reelected was more important than exposing a pedophilia ring?
Exactly. I think that they think it's about us wanting to, I feel like if I'm trying to infer and get into their brain, I think they think it's like, oh, we just want to have like an edge on them, right? But no, we all were like ready for, we're all like, he's campaigning on this. Okay, this is good stuff, right? Transparency. This is the real president. This is the president who's going to really tell us what's good, right? Almost as if he is we're getting him into office, but he's not really playing the game how the game is normally played, right? And then everyone's like, so I think what they think is that people are trying to do this is this for like some allegiance to the Democratic Party where we want to get some up on him or something, when it's nothing like that. It's you campaigned on it. And it's not even like we're talking about something that's minuscule. We're talking about black market exploitation, trafficking of minors and sexual intercourse, allegedly, with an Israeli Mossad spy. So how are we going to sit here and proactively be like, oh no, it's fine. Oh, it's not a just your. That's what I'm trying to get people to. It's not a just your. It'll never be a just your. This is something that is insane. And we had these people doing this for, I don't even know how long, probably even decades. Who knows until the operation got blown. And he was using these people as like a form of blackmail and indoctrination so that he could always revolt back to using that to gain leverage over the politicians, which is why they're all susceptible to voting against it and lingering in the swamp, which isn't fair. It's not good. It's not cool. It's not, this is not something that I think should just get brushed over.
Blackmail ring. If you did, then maybe you shouldn't be coming back. And that'll be a referendum in every primary and every general election in the United States in 2026, which is why I'm urging people to get onto my resolution to co-sponsor the release of these files before we go into August recess. There's only 6 legislative days between when I release this, introduce this bipartisan resolution and the August recess, but we need 7 legislative days to start collecting signatures and force the vote. As soon as we get back, there's going to be a vote on this, unless the speaker subverts it.
Do you think there's a sense that if the speaker went against what Trump wanted in this case, he might lose the speakership?
He's got a choice here between protecting the deep state and all the pedophiles and the people who were complicit in the sex trafficking ring. He can either support them and ostensibly support the president's position, which is that you don't need to release this, or he can be for the American people and he can support the release of this. And so I think it is a watershed moment for the president, for the Speaker of the House and the president.
Do you think the Attorney General should step down?
No, I think the Attorney General has time to release all these files. So I think she has time to do the right thing. I wouldn't call for her resignation.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
So I think that was a good, just, interview for Thomas there. And Trump is obviously not a fan of Thomas, okay? Because he obviously proactively campaigns against things, or I'm not gonna say campaign, but he's trying to reveal the holes in the administration. And obviously the leader is not gonna like that, right? So right here, we have a video of Jeffrey Epstein leaving his luxury apartment, which presumes to be the Prime Minister of Australia. And it's his daughter. Look at this, man. This is ridiculous, bro. Look, here he is walking out with her. They're going on some, I guess, some expedition. I don't know. But I mean, dude, what am I looking at, man? This cannot be real. Like, I can't even begin to, I don't even know how this is. I mean, dude, 4K. Look, the camera right there. It's written in time, man. So since then, they released these MLK files that nobody really cares about, okay? Because we already know how MLK died. We already know how MLK died. We already know, okay? We don't really care. But the specification between the Epstein files is a little bit more significant, I believe, because there are a lot of different things in terms of finance and how to trace the money and how to find where some of these things could have gone wrong. I do believe that no one should let it up, and we should be the most irritating, crying like a whiny little baby, bitchy, annoying fuckers to get what we want. That's what I believe. And if not, hey, we'll just we'll I think this will, I think I said this in the last video, but this will show a pivotal moment as a resignation to the MAGA movement and what it means to be for America. Because I see this as a pro-America trope. I see this as a win for us to get what we wanted, which is justice and transparency between our politicians that govern us and we the people. So we'll have to see if this expedition even gets anywhere. But with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure you leave a comment down below, you like the video, and subscribe. Join Team H&K. We're on the road to 150 million subscribers. It's like Keemstar. Remember Keemstar back in the day? But yeah, okay. All right, so Team H&K, I'll see you guys when you're older.